everyone. Well, this is going to be a very interesting day. I decided that I was going to do possibly something for Isaac on the channel. I think I'd mentioned that a while ago. And so I figure Aqua is taking a nap right now. So maybe we could get in some Isaac while Aqua was taking a nap. What do you guys think? I have some empty files here. This is my main file right here. I've gotten pretty good progress on it if you guys wanted to see it real quick. So, as we can see, I've got most of the characters, not all of them, but quite a few. And as for this side, I've unlocked quite a few here as well. I'm not the greatest Isaac player, but I like to think I do pretty good. So let's start off the new game. As you can see, you only get so many characters. I know most of you have probably played Isaac before, but for anyone who hasn't, you don't start off with all the characters unlocked, just a few of them. I think I'll just start with Isaac for now, and we'll play on normal. Actually, do I want to play on normal? Oh, yes, I also have some mods on. I haven't played in a while, so give me a second. There we go. Most of the mods are just to tell me what things do. Otherwise, I don't really use anything that has any, like, extra stuff. Well, that's not true. I do have some mods that I did download for extra stuff, but I've not used any of them yet. I plan to do so eventually. I know some of them are really interesting story mode-wise. So, Isaac was a game that came out probably when I was a teenager, on Newgrounds. That's where Ed McMillan posted the first iteration of it as a Flash game on Newgrounds. I actually was not a player for Isaac at that time. But I got into it after a few years. You know, I knew it was very popular, and, you know, it was a staple for a lot of people. Oh, this thing's gonna be a pain in the ass, isn't it? Alright, I gotta wait for it to come out here a bit. But, yeah, no, I genuinely enjoyed Isaac. At least from what I've played of it. I've not beaten everything, which is unfortunate. But regardless, I'm a little tired today. Had a very rough week. We went to go do something for my birthday, and that didn't exactly turn out the way we had hoped. I actually, it was funny because, well, not really funny at the time, but I got all nicely dressed. And I don't wear dresses very often, but I wanted to look nice. And it's a good thing I didn't wear makeup, because it would have run everywhere. It was raining out. Tooth and nail. That's not a bad item. But, so, I was, I had just gotten dressed. It was very sweaty and gross outside, because, as you know, it's summertime. And, we went to go out, and we're like, oh, it's hot, and it's gross, and this sucks. We gotta run a few errands. And then we can go and do stuff like go to dinner and stuff. Well, not really dinner, more like lunch, but regardless. This boss is named Larry. He's a pretty easy boss. Usually there's two of them running around, but this iteration only has one running around, but he's very large. So if you hit him in certain places, like if I hit him over here, he can actually split in half and become two. But unfortunately I'm getting mostly headshots. But if you get him down to a certain amount of HP, see, there you go. See how he split in half like that? It's better to hit him straight up in the face, because that prevents the splitting, and it makes it much easier to control this boss fight. But anyway, as I was saying, that's not a great item. Oh well. I mean, it's good for money. Not good for much else, though, unfortunately. But so... we got out. We got almost all the errands done, which that was not exactly the most convenient either. because we had to run around on buses. I don't have a vehicle, so presently I use buses to get everywhere. But, so we finished the last, errand, and then it just started pouring. And it sucked. We got to poop. That's good for us. It'll get us at least some extra money. And at that point, we had just completed the last errand. It's pouring out. I'm in a dress. I'm uncomfortable because I was sweating all day and now I'm getting soaked. So I just threw my hands up and said, Aqua, we're just gonna go home. And she felt bad, but, you know, there was nothing we could really do, and she looked just as uncomfortable as me, you know, out in the sweaty heat and then running around in the rain. I don't like this item. I'm gonna take it, but I don't like it. It's not going to help me much. So we just ended up coming home, and then I think we watched a movie for a little while. Something like that. It's hard to remember because I actually dozed off at a certain point. Aqua just left me to sleep. But, you know, and then the next day we had other stuff to do, so we didn't really get to do much. So we're gonna probably go out today at some point. But for now, she's sleeping. I work third shift, so it's one of those things where it affects our recording time, but it also affects when we're able to spend time together. So, you know, it's one of those things where I don't get to, how do I explain it? I'm sure you understand what I'm getting at, but my time management is a lot different than everyone else's. Recording time is obviously not easy for me because I take a bus, and then I, you know, have to be there at a certain time. Buses are not exactly the most reliable, as anyone who would know who's used one. Oh, I hate this thing. Those things late game, particularly certain ones, they are a pain to deal with. We've got a decent amount of money. If I want this key, I'll wait. I'll wait to see if I want that. Depends on if this is worth it. Mom's box. Yeah, we'll take Mom's box. No, we don't need the leash. Yeah, so time management wise, just being able to... I'm actually going to leave this key. There might be something better. These guys can get you back into a corner, so you have to be really careful. See, they're trying to do that right now with me. I'm not allowing it, though. But, yeah, just time... Oh, that's not good. There we go. Time management-wise, it's just a struggle sometimes to be able to make time for just even spending time with Aqua. And it's unfortunate, because she only sees me so much of the week. And then, because I'm usually sleeping, unfortunately. I have to sleep a lot to maintain working third shift. Because if you don't maintain it, you become like a shell of a person, unfortunately. Like, trust me when I tell you, there are nights when I come home, well, mornings when I come home, and I'm just a mess. Because you have to stay up all night. Oh, I'm gonna have to be careful. Sorry if I stop talking, it's just, this boss is a pain. This can be a run-ender, because I don't exactly have the most strength, and I'm not making accurate shots. You should be a bit better now. There's only one thing to focus on. Yeah, that's worried about that attack. Yeah, like that. I didn't realize it could do that, though, where it fans out at the end and it gets much bigger. That's interesting. I'm gonna keep the trinket I have. Can I get that over there? I would like to get that. Can I get it over here? Yeah, I can. There we go. But yeah, so it's part of the reason why we don't get to record as much, and I apologize for that. Sorry if it seems like I'm talking in circles. Like I said, I'm still getting used to this whole speaking while recording thing. It's honestly, it has affected, not the recording, but working third shift has definitely affected a lot of what I'm able to do during the day. When I can spend my time with people and things of that nature. So it's just been, you know, been a lot to manage. Like, a lot of my personal hobbies, those have been affected as well. Like, writing the past couple weeks has been a nightmare. I might be getting, I'll keep what I got. I might be getting some time to work on the last chapter of a Pokemon fic that I've been looking to finish. The story behind that, it actually was only supposed to be a one-shot, and it devolved into, well, the story wasn't satisfactory, so I had to keep writing, and it just became a monster. But hopefully I'll have that done soon. There is technically 1 or 2 more chapters scheduled for it, even after it's quote-unquote done. But those are more like epilogue chapters. Oh, that's not good. Come on, game. Don't put me in that position. As I said, not the best Isaac player. Talking has definitely been a distraction. Were there any other hearts on the floor? It doesn't look like there was. That needs to go away very quickly. Oh, well, there's a heart. Shoot in one direction. Yeah, okay, we'll take it before But hopefully we'll be able to make some more time in the next couple of weeks, both for me to do some projects and, you know, do more recording. It's not really Aqua's schedule that's the problem, it's usually mine. We've been doing okay, though, in terms of, like, managing life stuff, at least. That's been going a lot better since I started working third shift, because I make decent money. I wouldn't say it's perfect or the greatest, but ow, oops. Well, first death. That's a good item. At least if I get hit now, we get something out of it. But in terms of, you know, making progress with life, we're, one thing at a time, you know? But at least I'm working now, which, I hadn't been before, and that had been a big problem. I had kind of been living off my savings at the time. Not to get too personal, it's just, you know, I don't know what else to talk about. There's not many things that go on in my life. Actually rather boring, if you want me to be honest. The most I got going for me is, you know, what we talk about here, essentially. Otherwise I spend much of my time just, I don't know, hanging out. But I think a lot of people do that in life, if you want me to be honest. Once you become, you know, I'd say, actually, honestly, I could argue that most people do that most of their lives. Lives. I can't speak today. I am not making any hits on this monster. There we go. So that's what that item does. It makes, like, little mini Isaacs that will then shoot with you. But he wasn't close enough in range to anything to shoot. Like, see, there he goes. Now that he knows that there's something there, he'll shoot at it. So this is Dingle. He's an early game boss. Most that he has got going for him is the movement. But if you move in an opposite direction just as he goes to move, it's not hard to avoid him. I usually go in a circle. Looks like he killed my friend. That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, speed pill. Very nice. Alright, what's this? Puberty. That's not bad. If we get 2 more of those, we get a heart container, which will be really nice. Apologies if the headphones I'm using are not that great. Unfortunately, funny story, I lost another pair of headphones again this week. Oh, this is gonna suck. Okay. That's what I was trying to avoid. It's early enough where that would be nice. But it's only nice if I can get a damage up. So I think I'm going to wait. Either just wait or not take that item at all. Because the damage reduction is awful. The penalty usually resolves with time, but you need to be able to get, you know, enough damage up for it not to matter. Otherwise, that's a very good item shooting-wise. What was I talking about? Right, so I don't consider myself a very interesting person. But, again, I think most people forget that a lot of people spend their lives just hanging out, doing nothing. And at the same time, too, I think it's also good to relax and, you know, take some time for yourself every once in a while. I haven't really been able to do that as of late. That was a very silly move. My life tends to be very, touch and go, unfortunately. I'm always running around doing something. I'm sure it seems as though I can't stay on a topic for more than 5 seconds, like I have ADD, ADHD or something, but trust me, I don't. Recording just really makes me anxious. But I want to do this, because I think over time, once I can get over the anxiousness, I think this will be very fun. But unfortunately, anxiety does that to you, and I think a lot of people go through that recently. Whether they have long-term anxiety or short-term anxiety, it doesn't really matter. Anything that's new or different will make people anxious or nervous. But I tend to be the type of person where I like to experience new things, new different things. I think it's better to experience something even if it makes you nervous versus just to not experience it at all. And granted, that's kind of rich coming from me. There are a lot of things in life that I won't do because they make me that anxious. But I think that's true for anybody. There are certain things that are just off the block. You aren't interested in doing them enough for it to be something that you'd be willing to try. You know, whether it's food or, like, I've seen plenty of people be like, nope, I don't like that, I'm not trying it. Or if it's just life experience. It all comes down to interest. Streaming has always been kind of interesting to me. I don't think I'm particularly good at it. I need to go back to that. That was worth it. Give me that. Like, I don't think I'm particularly good at it, but, you know, I think over time, this could just be something fun, like I said. Once I get more comfortable. And I think that's true for anybody who wants to get into streaming, if you want me to be perfectly honest. You need to find your niche. I don't think I've quite found mine yet. I genuinely would like to do more like videos that talk about writing. Oh, I'm just failing really hard right now. This is not a hard boss. But making more little mini Isaacs might be helpful, actually. I'm getting a little distracted by my thoughts. I genuinely would like this channel to be mostly about the writing stuff, but I think the gaming stuff is also good. Hey, there's our damage up. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. First of all, I'm gonna grab this. I could have positioned that bomb better and probably have gotten that key, but it's whatever. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to that almond milk. It's probably not the best play, but it's worth a shot. So we grab this almond milk. As you can see, our damage went down a lot. But this is what it does, if you were curious. A lot of shots, very rapidly. But they'd only do 1 damage apiece. Let's grab this. What did that bring us up to? 122? Could be worse. Fire rate is better than it could be. I'll leave that key. I'd rather have the bomb. And there's our extra heart from grabbing that container. Now, the knockback, however, on this is pretty good, all things considered. That wasn't a very good example of how good that could be, but it is what it is. I will go back to that room in a minute. The reason I'm taking so much damage is these shots do not do enough damage, like I said before. So I have to contend with that until we can get more damage up. Oh. That's not... That could be a lot worse. I also don't think that's permanent. But that could be a lot worse. These things are going to be a problem, though. Because I can't shoot straight. And these shots are not going to do enough damage. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I might have screwed this. Oh, well, the pill wore off, so we're okay now. I should be able to do this now. Okay. Yeah, that pill is a pain. I'm curious if there's anything else here. No. But yeah, in general, I think it's hard to find your niche when you start a channel like this, because a lot of people, especially in this day and age, a lot of people have done pretty much just about everything. And especially because a lot of people have better equipment than you, possibly more money than you to start up. Not to say that you need to have a lot of money to start up, but, you know, it helps. But I like the way that we do things so far. I think that going forward, over time, things will probably get a bit better. One thing I don't want to change, however, and I'm sure a lot of people will criticize the channel for this, is the podcasts. I would like to keep that as they are. Just us with the logo and all that. I'm not really looking to branch in any particular way where... How do I explain it? Branching is not quite the right word. Oh, lemon party. That's fine for now, I guess. Oh, that's lemon missile. Lemon party is the pill. Right. But I and Aqua have kind of talked about it, and it's kind of one of those things where growing up, or not even necessarily growing up, but like early YouTube, and even just the origin of podcasts in general, I like the idea that the audience does not have to be staring at the screen. There are some YouTubers and streamers or social media presence, whatever you want to call it, influencer, I hate that word. I don't think that anyone who does this type of thing really likes that word. I mean, unless you have, narcissism. But, the idea... Ooh, is that the Bible? Yeah, I'll take that. The idea that, the channel really has to change much when it comes to the podcast section, I don't think that's really helpful. And I say that because, like I was getting at, I don't want my audience to feel like they have to stare at the screen. As someone who just likes to listen to stuff myself, I think it's way more, comfortable. Oh, we're stuck. Okay. That helps a lot. Not that much, but helps a bit. This is why I can't game and talk at the same time. I get easily distracted. Especially for a game like this. This game is hard. That's a very good item. Especially for the item that we already have, that's a very good item. But I think that having it so that, yeah, the audience doesn't have to look at the screen is the best thing for everyone. Some people would say, oh, you're just being lazy, you don't want to have to, like, add visual effects and stuff. It's like, well, no. This is meant to be very casual, as I've mentioned several times in the past. This is meant to be as casual as it can be. Yes, it would take time and effort to learn how to do some editing stuff, to learn OBS a bit better. It's, and I don't know how the program works that great, and it's not worth the risk that I'm going to, I don't know, click a button one day and either dox me an Aqua on accident, because I've seen streamers do it all the time, and these are streamers that have been around for a long time, and they know how this stuff works, and they've even done it. It's nothing personal, it's nothing like, oh yeah, we're not gonna be like those people. No, it's nothing like that. Like, those people have been around for years, and it's just not worth the risk. So ultimately, not only for our safety, clicking the wrong button one day and, oh no, there's our address, or there's identifying information, or something like that. Like, I'm honestly not very interested in putting us in that position. Especially because people are weird. I don't know if you've realized that, but people are really weird on the internet. The parasocial relationships that happen between people, it's not fun. People become attached in very uncomfortable ways, and people get hurt. And I'd prefer not to be in that situation. I'm sure that's opening me up to people going, oh, that makes me want to dox you. That's your prerogative, bro, if you're gonna try. If so, that's more, word on your part, not really my problem. Just kind of tells people more about what your intentions are. And I know a lot of people will go, oh, well, that's the nature of the internet. You opened yourself up for that. It's like, if you say so, I don't think it should have to be that way. If people want to make it that way, though, that's their prerogative. Ah, Sissy Longlegs. There we go. Sissy is fun. She makes spiders. It's actually a very good item. I'm just getting hit everywhere. As I said, not the greatest Isaac player. Especially when I'm distracted. Um, but enough of the doom and gloom. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm comfortable with the setup that we have. Over time, we will try to expand in other areas. Don't get me wrong. Like, eventually I would like a better recording setup, and if I am comfortable, or, you know, if I'd still have to talk to Aqua about it too. But if we become comfortable about it, you know, maybe we might change some things, but I don't really think that we would want to change a whole lot. I also think that channels have a style. And I think once you become so different to your audience that you're not recognizable to older, like, people who've been around for a while, I also believe that's an issue too. Like, I'm not saying you have to, everything has to stay the same, or you can't progress with yourself. But I've seen a lot of streamers, and a lot of, YouTubers, influencer, whatever. I've seen a lot of them where they become completely different people. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does lead to this thing where some of your audience may have liked your older content. And it's not to say that they can't enjoy your new content as well, but ultimately some of them came for very specific content. I'm all for supporting people that I've enjoyed for years if they want to do something that's a little different. But at the end of the day, like, a great example would be, I don't really want to use him as an example, but actually I'll use a different person. There is a YouTuber. His name is SMG4. SMG4, his whole shtick of YouTube was that he made parody content. Sorry, I'm just getting more comfortable as I'm sitting on my bed. Give me one sec. There we go, that's a bit better. You're probably hearing some noises. There we go. But SMG4, his whole thing was that he made parody content for Super Mario 64. He still technically does that, but I'm not a fan of his newer content. I know part of it was that, you know, he had to change things because I'm sure there was some issues with Nintendo or whatever it may be. Nintendo's gotten weird over the last couple of years. But that's not really the issue I have with his present-day content. Like with many YouTubers, once they get so big... Speed ouch. Down. That sucks. Once they get so big, they start completely transforming the content away from what their content originally was, because they feel that they can do that now that they've made it big. And they tend to forget what made them popular in the first place. I'm all for people doing original content, don't get me wrong. But when your main content eventually turns into revolving around this content that people didn't ask for, or that wasn't the main focus of your channel in the first place, that tends to turn a lot of people off. This is a very good item for almond milk, by the way, the rainbow cookie. Very good item. Like, SMG4, I kind of stopped watching him because it wasn't the content. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm happy for him. Any original projects he wants to do, that's cool. I'm not, like, hating on him or anything. He's a good guy. Very, very good person. But at a certain point, even when, like, the older content was still the primary focus... Oh, that's fast. There we go, that sucked. Words. brain shuts off halfway through that. Sometimes it's been a problem. It's from me being tired. You know, like I said, third shift will take it out of you. But at a certain point, it became very clear that the new content superseded the old content. And I understand some of the old content wasn't viable anymore. But his style completely changed in a lot of ways. It wasn't just the content that had changed. Because if that had been the case, I could understand that. But some of the content is very clickbaity now. Like, it's not the same way that it was. Like, he used to genuinely... There is a video that's on his channel. His 200k subscriber channel. Subscriber video. And it talks about how he just did this stuff for fun. Ooh, Guppy's head. I'm gonna keep the Bible, because we're in the early game, and I can use that against the boss. Oh, on that other floor, I forgot to do that other room with the chests. That's alright. It's not required to beat this. But the 200 subscriber video, I think, really put into perspective, like, that he just did this for fun, and that he was enjoying himself. I think at a certain point, you know, entertainers like YouTubers, they start to not enjoy themselves. Now, whether that's because they don't enjoy the content they were making in the first place, they get bored with it, or yada yada. So I can understand wanting to switch things up and to make a change. But he still kind of makes some of his old content, but it's not fun anymore. It's very clickbaity, it's very like, oh, I'm doing it to entertain the little toddlers. Ha ha ha, you know. The tarot cloth. I'll keep that. It's the chariot. It's very temporary. And again, more power to him that he, you know, has decided to move on and do other things. But the old content that he's still trying to replicate doesn't feel like his old content. It feels like he's just, you know, doing this because he probably knows that it'll still get views. And he's just doing it because the little babbies want it. I know I probably sound really contradictory with everything that I'm saying. And I don't mean to come off as very contradictory. More what I'm getting at is... Alright, Serena. If you're going to continue your old content to please your fans, then do it the right way. If you're going to become someone different, then become someone different and find a new audience for yourself. That's kind of the idea. Leviathan, speed up, damage up. Yeah, give me that. There we go. We're kind of getting back from the penalty from almond milk. Little by little. I guess where I'm going with this for us is... what you see is what you get here. I enjoy the content that I make, otherwise I wouldn't make it. Sure, it's probably not as great as other people's content. It's probably not as special, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you could say it's lazy, it's boring. But I enjoy what we do. We're not probably ever going to become, like, super famous or anything. But it is what it is. We don't do this to get famous. Anybody who does YouTube or, you know, any of this type of video making to get famous, they're barking up the wrong tree. I do this because it's fun. SMG4 at one time probably did it to have fun. But I think the problem becomes, and this is why people change ultimately, and why they have to advance to meet the algorithm, is because they are no longer doing it to have fun. They're doing it for an income. I'm perfectly comfortable with doing a regular job the rest of my life. I like my job, honestly. And so if I can't make content as often as some people might like, unfortunately that's just how it is. That's why I kind of don't want this to change. This is like the one thing that I get to do sometimes, me and Aqua. We just get to enjoy ourselves, even if we're awkward or, you know, not exactly the most comfortable with it. It's still fun. So that's why I really don't want to change how we do things in terms of the present quality. Not like obviously, you know, I can get a better setup, I can get a better computer, I can maybe even get better recording software. Those are just like part of the progression of doing, you know, this type of thing. Because we can't exactly do streaming later on if we don't get better computers, if we don't get better setup. And streaming would be fun at some point. But it's also probably not going to be the primary of the channel. I mean, if it did, that would be interesting. But that's not really our goal. But in terms of, like, where I was going with this earlier, the way that we set up the recordings for the podcast, whether it's live or whether it's just a recording, that part's irrelevant. I'm more so concerned with how does it look. It's just going to be the logo in the background. I'm not interested in pulling up YouTube videos and streaming them and restreaming them to comment on things. There's plenty of content we're just not interested in doing. And that's something that I really don't want to do. Because most podcast people... Oh, well, there's a speed up. That's pretty good. They want to... This room... Maybe we can get something out of this room. I doubt it at this rate, but, you know, ultimately, like I'm saying, it just... I want something consistent from our content. And I know that the content I like to consume, that tends to be a podcast. And many a podcasts already do this, honestly. Like, this isn't anything that's revolutionary or too different. That's a speed down pill, we don't want that. But plenty of them just do the, perfect. That's really... Well, we actually got quite a bit out of this room. But plenty of them literally just do the thing that I said, where it's just the image in the background and them talking. Many people have told me, and this is really weird because I don't agree with them. Many people have told me, oh, your voice is so soothing to listen to. I don't quite agree with that one. Oh, there we go, runs over.
His mother, fueled with the desire to serve her God, was bearing down on Isaac. I will do as I'm told, my lord. I love you above all else, Isaac's mother repeated to herself. This was the end of the line for Isaac. His mother was far too strong for him. But just as he accepted his fate, God intervened, sending an angel down from above to stop his mother's hand. And just like that, it was over.
Don't look that over to me. And it absolutely isn't. Well, that was a pretty good run. Pretty quick run, too, considering that we died in the first one. But just to wrap up my thought, I would like the content to stay pretty much the way that it is. Again, we may add more segments, add some game stuff every once in a while, but ultimately, I like what we have. So if you guys like what we have and you're willing to continue watching us, that's cool. We'd appreciate it. We're not looking to get rich. We're not looking to get overly popular to the point where, we become someone that we're not. I like just who I am. Sure, people can grow and change, and I'm not looking to give a giant speech about that. But if you guys enjoy this, what we have, that's all that really matters. This is who we want to be. Anyways, enough of me being all philosophical and such. I've just had a lot of my mind lately, especially about this, since, we're coming back and there's probably a lot of expectations. I'm not looking to be what people tell me to be. I enjoy what I got right here. So, this has been Indigo, signing off. Thank you for watching.